Hello, beautiful friends. What a crazy life. So, I have so much to share right now, and I'm going to try to keep it sort of concise and articulate as possible. So, tons of love to all of you right off the bat. I hope you're doing well, and let's just dive into this. This is going to be a very powerful video. So, what inspired this video is some of the world events. I'm sure you guys are aware of, what's going on in Israel and Palestine. And before some of you get cringed out that I'm talking about this, there's a reason. It's very important, in my opinion. Because what I have found, I felt very deeply, you know, what's going on. And this is not anything new either. This is one of those very old, ancient, nasty shadows that is coming up to the surface now. And there's a reason for it. There's always a reason for these things that are coming up. And my goal is to allow these things to actually sharpen my mind, and to expand my heart. And I always see the middle path. I try to see the middle path here. And for me, what's been coming to my heart is, because again, I have to talk about this because again, this is nothing new, and it's also something that I feel we're going to continue to see. Is all of these old shadows coming up to the surface. So we have to consider how we're going to show up. And if you're watching this, then you're also someone we're here to interrupt these old patterns of destruction and hatred that have been looping for thousands and thousands of years in humanity. We're here to be what people call light workers, way showers. We're here to bring a whole new level of love and light to these scenarios and help lead humanity out of the darkness. So with all that being said, for me, I just want to share what's been helping me and helping, many others on this journey. I hope it's helpful to you, or at least offers you a new perspective. Coming from a place of heart and heart medicine. I know I'm talking kind of fast, but there's so much I want to share, and I want to try to keep this video not too long. So again, the way that I've come to see this stuff is, and I'm talking about external happenings, worldly events. For me, the middle path means to not give my power away to these things. So that might manifest as not everyone's going to have their initial human reaction, and you got to let yourself have that process. Maybe it's fear or grief or rage or whatever the case may be. But ultimately, not dwelling in these states and not being controlled by these external events. So not giving your power away to them and feeding into this negative timelines that the dark ones are trying to manifest through all of us. I'm going to go really deep into that one in a second. So not giving your power away and feeding that energy, feeding that loosh, feeding into these things that's what they want. These dark people that are doing this horrible stuff, they want to feed off of your fear and your hatred and division of humanity. So I think we have to be very conscious of not giving that away. Again, we have our initial reactions that we have to feel and purge and transmute, but not dwelling in those states. And on the other hand, and everybody has a different role to play. This is just my perspective. Not completely ignoring these things and pretending that they have no effect over you whatsoever. For me, I can't do that, because to me I'm too sensitive for that. I can feel the grief and the collective. I can feel the pain that people are in. And just because it's not my family that's going through something traumatic, I know I'm still connected to that. I'm still connected to this pain that people are in and this suffering. And we all are, whether we, admit it or not. We all, when our siblings suffer here, we all suffer, because we are all connected. Again, you don't have to, I don't say that in a way to let that give your power away, but again, it's finding that middle path, because for myself and for probably all, or at least the majority of people that are listening to this right now, considering this event, or even things going on in our personal lives, I think that, I speak for a lot of people when I say that, we're all going through our own thing, but in a lot of ways, we are very privileged. I don't know if that's the right word, but, we have a lot of, those of us who have been on this awakening journey, we have a lot of knowledge, we have a lot of wisdom about these types of things. We've done a lot of healing, we've done a lot of shadow work. And for many of us, it's like we actually live very beautiful lives. We live very abundant lives. We live, we live with a lot of peace and harmony. And this is beautiful, and this is how, I think we should live. This is how we all deserve to live, at least all of us who are, truly tapped into our love and our innocence. So I want to say, when you're in these, as many of us are, in these higher states, you have this beautiful life, you're in a place where you have a lot of peace, unlike some people in the world. This is such a beautiful place to, again, not only help yourself, first and foremost, but to help others. When you're in a state where you are in peace, you are in love, you are connected to God, you are connected to truth, you're in a very powerful place of prayer. You are, whether you realize it or not, you're in a very powerful place of manifestation. So I guess my point and my invitation to you then is to use this privilege, or whatever you want to call it, this power, this God-given power that you are tapped into. If you're listening to this and understanding what I'm saying, can you use this power to send love and to send prayers to those who are not currently connected to this peace and to this power? Because this is the power we have, and the power that we have to not only serve ourselves, because we are not here, especially in these times, to just endlessly feed our own egos. We're not here for that. We're here to be of service. Again, what does that really mean? Not overgiving and draining yourself, but what can you do to assist others? And please, my friends, to myself as well, we can't underestimate the power of prayer and the power of setting intentions, especially when we are in these higher states that many of us are in, that we often take for granted, compared to other brothers and sisters in the world that are not connected to this peace. And I'm not talking about the evil, tyrannical people that are doing these atrocities. I'm talking about the innocent civilians that don't have a voice. The children, the women, the civilians, the people that they're not a part of all of this tyranny that the media is screaming, and you can see it. And this is another main point I want to say, is not to feed the negative timelines. That's what they're trying to do, and that's what the part of the media has always been, is to plant these seeds in people's heads so that even if something isn't even true, they broadcast it, and now people who are watching it, they're either acting on it and making it true, or they're believing it and making it true, because this is a war on consciousness. This is a war on consciousness. So when you understand that, instead of being a victim, or allowing others to be a victim, you can step up to your actual role as a warrior of light, not a warrior of hatred and division, a warrior of light, a child of God, a lion. You can use this power now to protect yourself and to protect others, to protect the innocence of humanity. They're trying to, I see it so clearly in the media and in social media, how they try to make people manifest these negative timelines. And this is how they do it. They understand how the mind works by planting these seeds, and people get all worked up and they feed into the drama. And so one way or another, they manifest these negative timelines. They're trying to create as much chaos as they possibly can right now. So be very aware of that, and in my perspective, instead of feeding into the drama of all these horrible disgusting things that they're trying to bring into the reality through us, because they have no power without us. Their power is the manipulation of the masses. But you know what? Those of us who are awake and we hold a higher frequency, we have even more power. You know, we have even more power, again, of creation and manifestation. So, you know, I invite you to be very aware of not feeding those negative timelines. And furthermore, this is so important, it's not consenting to them. When you see them, so I do not consent to that. You know, we do not consent to that. I say this on a daily basis. It changes my life. It really does, because when you say that, even just in your own mind, you're unfuckwithable. Because, again, you have to understand how the dark people, dark entities, how these things operate, is that they're all about manipulation and getting your consent, even if you didn't really consent. They'll take stuff as consent. So you have to say, you know, I do not consent, you know, and use your spiritual tools that you have to claim that for yourself. And if you can, of course, you can't infringe on people's free will, but for those who, you know, those who don't have this ability to protect themselves. I hope that makes sense. You know, that's why I shield on a daily basis, is I don't consent to this infringement of this matrix that tries to take advantage of people at any chance that it gets. You know, we don't consent to that. You know, when you're tapped into these states, whether it's peace or protection or abundance or bliss, or just even, you know, feeling all right. If you can take just 30 seconds out of your day to wish that for all of humanity, you know, wish that for all of the innocent people right now that need help. You know, it's like we all need help sometimes, you know, and we're not meant to do all of this on our own. You know, we're our own responsibility, but, you know, it's like what I'm trying to say is when you have for many of us, we have a very beautiful, abundant lifestyle, and it's not something we should feel guilty about because other people don't have it. It's something that from this higher vantage point, you know, we can pray for more people to start tapping into this. That's very, very powerful. You know, we don't have to sink down to lower levels of suffering. You know, we're here to keep rising up and to help others however we can to rise up. So this is really, really strong on my heart, not feeding into those negative timelines, because they're so sneaky. They're so creepy. I can see them. People getting these ideas and putting them out there. Again, I'm not saying you shouldn't be necessarily prepared for, you know, chaos and stuff like this. You know, obviously there's nuances in all this. But, you know, ultimately, what are you feeding your consciousness? You know, are you going to dwell in these states of fear and allow this fear to take over? Is that what we want in our selves, in our country, in our world? Or are we going to use this as fodder to set even stronger intentions of what we want? Because we are creator beings. Do not be manipulated and deceived by this stuff. We are in many of us listening, we are in such a powerful position to, again, continue to empower ourselves and to empower each other. And that's what we're really here for. And again, don't underestimate the power of just prayer and meditating and setting intentions that people see through the divide and conquer, that people awaken to God within them, that people awaken to the power of truth and peace on a larger scale than ever. We are like mediators in a way. Like we are, you know, when we're awakened, again, we're seeing through the eyes of God. We really have so much power through our observation alone to be of assistance, you know, and that's always my goal, you know, as again, beings that are here to birth this new paradigm. Seeing these events, not letting them scare you or paralyze you or make you bitter or hateful or delusional, or just completely ignore them like they're not even there. Maybe you do have to do that to protect your peace. You know, everyone's different. But for me, again, it's about transforming the darkness first within myself. You know, I can't explain the power of being a witness. This is something that has been taught to me so deeply in my own personal life and my relationships, and on this external collective scale. Don't underestimate the power of being a witness, because when you are awake, truly awake, aware, in your awareness of who you really are beyond this earth, you are a portal for love in your heart. This is all about coming into your heart. This is the real medicine, is the heart medicine, because when enough people are in their hearts, that's when we're going to see a complete transformation of life on earth. You know, people get endlessly lost in their mind, endlessly lost in their mind, especially with all of the history and opinions and trauma and mind control and politics and all of this stuff. It's such a jumbled mess. In a lot of cases, it's not until people really just expand into their heart that everything suddenly makes so much more sense of why we're here in the first place. So don't underestimate the power of being a witness. That's what I mean by finding this middle path. And this is just sort of the philosophy that I hold is, being a witness to these things. I'm all about transforming the darkness and seeing them. There's, again, what it's like to be a witness, to be an observer, is you're looking right at it. You're looking right at it without any resistance or fear. A lot of times when we see something that's we deem painful, we have all this resistance in our mind. Oh my God, blah, 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 blah. This is so painful. This is so bad. Da, da, da. This is horrible. It shouldn't happen. What if you just let all that go and just stare right into it? Just stare right into it like a badass motherfucker that you are. Stare and look right at it for what it is without any need for all of this chit chat. Just look at it. This has been such a transformational force in my life. To me, this is what opening the heart is, really all about. Because when you start to do that bravely and courageously, and you remember who you really are and the power you hold and your capacity to see, through this powerful lens of awareness, through your heart, that's when you are a portal of love. And this awareness is a force of love that shines right on it. And when you don't have all of this fear and resistance about what you're seeing, you're just seeing it, all this love gets to pour onto whatever you're perceiving. And a lot of these things that we're perceiving are so starved of love that you can't underestimate what a service you're bringing to it. Literally just by seeing it, full on, just seeing it. And pouring this love, pouring this awareness onto these things. Again, whether this is your own pain, whether this is somebody you know's pain that is in your family or something, or it is in the collective world stage, pouring this love into it, you literally take it to a whole new level. You literally transcend it. And this is just what's been really coming to me. Instead of trying to understand all the politics and stuff like this, maybe that's not my role, maybe that's other people's roles, but ultimately, the way I see it, it's like, the heart medicine, people really coming into their hearts is the only way that there's actually going to be a resolution, because otherwise it's just this endless tit for tat. Like they say, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. Who is really doing these atrocities? And who is really suffering? What is the truth that we can see that's been going on for so long? Trying to create all this chaos and negativity, not just in these places, but in the whole world. What is our response? This is a genuine question I'm asking you, And for me, again, it's shining this heart medicine on it and looking for the true way, not these old beaten paths of hatred and destruction and mindfuckery, this true heart path of clarity and solution. Don't underestimate this, Beautiful people. Again, so many of us watching this, we are in a state of being where we are very blessed. And so again, may we continue to raise our vibration and lean into these blessings, lean into this love, to this peace, this abundance. There's an infinite amount of this energy. It's just that so many people have been cut off from this energy. We cut ourselves off from this energy unwittingly through our trauma. When we're in these high states, though, that's my invitation to you, is can we start to be more giving? And again, what I mean by this is so simple. It doesn't have to be some big draining thing. It literally is just throughout your day, you know, when you feel this love, or you feel this peace, or you feel this abundance, can you just take a moment, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, to just pray or intend or wish this love for other beings? Incorporate that into your practice. Don't underestimate the power of that, of sending that love to people, because again, especially when we are able to be in these higher states, we're able to have even more influence, you know. And it's like, use it, or do we use this influence to feed these negative timelines that are just presenting themselves, trying to latch on to us? Or are we going to create our own timelines of the new earth, where we awaken, setting that intention, each and every one of us, every day, setting that intention, you know, for humanity to awaken, to be empowered, to see the truth, to see miracles, asking for miracles. Jesus Christ said, "You shall do greater miracles than I." Do you guys know, I think about that pretty much every single day of my life. I feel like that was really Jesus's message. It wasn't about just giving your power away to a man. He was saying, Jesus Christ's energy is within all of us, and this is the awakening that we really need, is to allow God into our lives, and to stop living in this fear and this shame about everything and this paranoia, but let God lead you and live through you. And that's for you, and blessing your life, and for blessing other beings' lives. It's so important. So this is what comes to me. This is what I mean by allowing these events to ultimately sharpen you, to add to your knowledge and wisdom, to add to your compassion and gratitude for the life that you have, you know, and how to use that, you know, in your own way to serve, to truly serve others, you know, to learn and extract the gnosis from these kinds of things. That's just my opinion, instead of, you know, giving your power away to them, which is like very, you know, 3D ways to do it, or just completely ignoring them, acting like they don't affect you. For me, I just can't do that, because I'm too sensitive. Like, I can feel the pain and the grieving that's going on, you know, the chaos. And to me, I don't turn a blind eye to that. I want to see it. Again, see it, look right at it, because it can't hurt me. It can't kill me. It's just a consciousness. And through that, this amazing transformation happens, where we can begin to glean more wisdom of what our role here really is. So much. I feel like that's just so much to say, but I think that's everything I really wanted to put out there. You know, with these shadows being revealed continuously, just a reminder to, protect your peace, you know, know how to regulate yourself, regulate your nervous system, put on your own oxygen mask before you help others, you know. And I think that's really the goal then, you know, is to help others however we can, you know. In these times that we're going into, I don't think any of us can comprehend the shifts and the changes and all the stuff that is going to be unfolding. But again, if we can continue to find our hearts, the last thing I'll say, again, just to really drive home the heart medicine, which I'm going to be talking about a lot more. That's just what I call it. There's so much power in the heart being able to see and be an observer, being a witness without fear or resistance. And again, this chitter chatter again of all this, oh, this is so bad, why is it like this, blah, 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 blah. Just see it. Just see it. Observe it full on with your heart and watch what happens. Every single time I've done this, everything changes in one way or another. I'm so serious. To the ego, this is counterintuitive, because the ego always wants to like do things. But there's something about full on seeing, just seeing something with your heart open, because that's when you're open to God itself. If people could feel the love of God, this is what I mean by like the heart, people, like enough people being in their hearts, this is the awakening. Because people think God, a lot of people think God, people, you know, conceptualize God, and that's not really solid ground, honestly. But when you feel God in your heart, that is when you are shifted in a way that you can't explain. And I know there's people that maybe haven't even felt that love of God. You know, there's some people at this time, this now moment, that aren't going to be saved. You know, people that are so full of hatred and just evil, you know, that are, it's their choice that they don't want to, they won't recognize the fact that they are one with God. You know, that's just how it is. And we don't need to fear these people or let these people control us. You know, we just acknowledge that there are people like this. But most people are not like this. Most people, from what I feel, mass majority of people, even if they are lost or traumatized or confused, they are hungry for love and they need prayers and miracles in their life. And it's the really least that we can do, you know, is just send love to people. When we're feeling a miracle, when we're receiving a blessing, can we wish, you know, take a moment to actively wish that for others? You know, it's such a small thing, but it's such a powerful thing. Honestly, if you try it, you'll be amazed at, because this is the consciousness. The consciousness is the core of all of this. Again, this is a war on consciousness more than we can even comprehend. So don't underestimate your power, my friends. Everything that we're doing, so many things of what we're doing right now is all about taking our power back. Because we've given our power away so long, through so many generations, we've given our power away. Now we're calling our power back. How can you call your power back? And the next question is, what are you going to do with that power? You know, are you just going to, feed this insatiable ego? Or are you going to use that power to really be of service? You know, again, serve, yourself and others. You don't need to drain yourself or count yourself out. You know, self-preservation is very important, but once you reach that point and you're good, you know, it's really time to think about sending that love to other beings. You know, again, however that means to you, not in a way that's draining, but in a way that is in balance with what you're giving and what you're receiving. Because giving and receiving are the same, really the same thing, you know, in balance. So I hope this is helpful. So much love to all of you. I mean, it's really just incredible, you know, what we're able to experience on this earth right now, being able to experience such high states of heavenly bliss and being able to experience such horrible, just terrible states of hell, you know, on this earth. It really is crazy. But, you know, going forward, I hope we can continue to raise our vibrations, raise our consciousness, and nurture and nourish ourselves so that we can do the same for others, you know, and for all of those who are willing to receive that at this time, you know, those who are willing to receive this love and this, these prayers and this help. Setting our intentions for the new earth, for the high timelines, not getting pulled into these vacuums of these negative timelines that are trying to be planted in the media and in social media right now. It's so disgusting. I can see it so clearly. You know, we do not consent to that. That's why I shield every single day, because I make it very clear that I do not consent to this infringement. I do not consent to being part of any false flag or any weird demonic bullshit. I don't consent to that. I make that very clear, and I recommend that for everyone, whatever way that is for you. Sovereignty is very, very important, my friends. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again, you know, from the YouTube channel Eldora and Saman, they always say, love, light, and fuck you too. And again, the meaning of that is to have these sacred boundaries, having all the love and all the light, you know, and also understanding your sovereignty and not being taken advantage of and not letting others to be taken advantage of. This is the true archetype of the warrior, to protect the sacred and the innocent. This is what we need. This is what is being asked of all of us, is right now, in my opinion, you know, not to sit back idly, not to fall into fear and panic, but to be these warriors of love that we are, that is embedded within all of us in our soul, you know, to protect that which is sacred, which is pure, which there are beings in this realm that are desecrating it right now, you know, finding that middle path of true empowerment for ourselves and for others at this time. All right. I love you all so much. Again, I hope this is so helpful. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you next time.